Now, the rest of the story.
Welcome back. I know you guys probably can't see much other than the silhouette of me, but it's been a long 36 hours. It's been one of those days. You know, one of those days where it's hurry up and panic because they're calling for a chance of less than 1 inch of snow, and as the day goes on, they ratchet it up to 1 to 3 inches of snow. I imagine it's just one of those things where, depending on where the system trends, how much you're going to get. Now, combining in the snow isn't anything that we're new to, but it will put us back, because after this snow, if we didn't already think it was cold enough as it is, they're calling for it to get even colder yet, like lows in the single digits and highs in the low 20s for a couple days. There's a couple ways to look at that. Well, number one, burr. Number two, if the snow isn't super thick where it's insulating the ground, if it actually firms up the ground enough, which it is actually right now, to be honest, we may actually be able to keep running here after the snow gets off the corn. Because one thing that we will absolutely not do is harvest any of this corn with snow on it. There is no way we are risking icing up this combine. Even if we think, oh, it won't be that bad, you get about a half a round out of it and it freezes, and then we're stuck trying to thaw it out, and there's a lot of machine back here to try to unthaw. So it's better just to let it go, not leave the corn until spring by any means, but we shifted enough around and we actually didn't do too bad. What got us was having to go back to that field of mine to harvest. It was over a truckload, because we had about a half a load that we had to shuffle around between both carts and the wagon to keep moving throughout yesterday. But we ended up switching around, going into Ryan's corn, hauled enough off of that down the road on the truck, and then once the elevator closed where we couldn't get any more down the road on the truck, loaded it for this morning, and we proceeded to haul the rest of the corn off that field and dump it in that feed bin of my brother's. So Ryan is sitting good for feed for the year. It's topped off. It had about one more wagon load in it than what it had last year, but he also had fewer calves he was feeding. Granted, I don't know what he's going to have this year, because I don't know. I can't remember. I'm tired. We're well beyond. We'll be at 36 hours and about 20 minutes here that I've been going. I was home for 2 hours, but I most certainly didn't get to sleep for 2 hours. And the big thing is getting what we can off before the snow. We need about 2/3 of our fodder made yet, but they are calling for, after this snow, this upcoming weekend, it's supposed to get warm again. I think we got another time or two where it's supposed to warm up. So the snow that we're projected to get, I'm figuring it is going to melt off. We got about, I'm going to say 4 days. I'm assuming about 4 days of harvest to go yet. So I got more than just a little bit over 100 acres to go yet of my own. But Dad and Ryan are sitting good. And I'm not going to comment on yields. try to count here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's not that you can't count to 6. It's when you take your eyes off of what you're doing, just like I did there. And it's amazing how easy it is to get off just by one single roll with this thing. But stand is an issue. The wildlife pressure was an issue in some fields. The stand, I think a lot of it's the wildlife myself, but that of my brothers that we harvested last night, it had no fungicide and it was still standing very well. Really been lucky that far. The plants, even as far as the snow, if it's a wet, nasty, heavy snow, which I don't know if it will be, I most certainly hope it isn't, but like a dry dusting, even 1 to 3 inches, we'll be fine, I think. But we're actually able now to really just push through and get done with harvest. Having to fill that last feed bin for my brother, there was a lot of tedious running around yesterday. We switched between 3 farms, and I was back at the home farm at 3 o'clock this morning, taking the auger down and switching wagons and carts around, and after a while you just switch over to autopilot and your body just moves. But I haven't had much for coffee or caffeine or anything today, and my head has been throbbing for, well, it just quit about 2 hours ago. But Brittany was able to bring me a Mountain Dew, and I really want to focus on getting away from this stuff. Don't get me wrong, but it's just one of those things. It keeps harvest moving, and we're on the last pass on this field, and a lot of it is we're just trying to decide what we want to do. If it's potentially going to snow that much, if it snows, which 70% chance is a pretty certain chance, but we had snow over top of us 2 hours ago that we didn't get a single flake. And the big relief I got right now is I take out these last few rows, this farm will be done, and Ryan won't be back for another like 2 hours because he had to take this last load a fair ways away because the local elevator closed for the day. If we can get it all in the carts, we can drop the head off and make a management decision with the combine. Part of me wants to take it home. The other part of me wants to leave it up here because you know what will happen? We'll drive the machine, we'll road it all the way back home and then not get anything. They're pretty certain we're going to get something, but my money right now is let's just do what we can with what we have readily available ahead of us and just run with it. Once again, I got Dale helping. Dale, I know you're probably sick of me saying it, but it is definitely a big help that you're helping us. My uncle Carl was here this weekend. I know he was hanging around because he was hoping we could run. And that would have been fun if Carl could have helped. I mean, don't get me wrong. And I think we're going to try to coordinate next year. He can come help either with planting or making hay. The hard thing is just trying to coordinate for weekends, but it is fun having the family help on the farm like it used to many years ago. And I was just talking here just a couple hours ago about how we're gradually growing to where having friends and family help more more frequently. We're getting enough work around where we can actually have people come help. That's what it's looking like it's going to be, as long as Dale's going to keep helping. We got fodder made. We got stalks to cut, fodder to bale, get hauled in, and then tillage to switch to. But I have a bunch of ground that I can't do tillage on. I'm not going to do tillage on. This will make Ryan happy because this will make a full truckload. And all those stalks are getting ran through these 360-degree chain rolls at the moment, which is wicked awesome because it's just grinding the stuff right up. And it'll allow the stuff, I misspoke, I thought it was like 2 years. Andrew rode with me for a few hours today, and he said that it actually allows them to break down over the course of a year. So the chain rolls, I honestly believe, are worth it, especially on a year where tillage may be greatly reduced, or the ability to do tillage will be greatly reduced. And just like that, this farm is done. Two full grain carts. That's a truckload. We can drop this head off, try to stay busy while we're waiting on Ryan. Yeah, he's an hour and a half out minimum yet, but it's worth it. It's only 6 o'clock. Try to get all this corn out because it's the last of my brother's corn. And just like that, boom. I think we're gonna send Dale home because the tractor driving is done. These guys gotta sit until Ryan's back, and then I think we're just gonna leave everything sit for now. That's about all we can really do. Hope for the best and deal with the rest. If it's not rain, freezing rain, just straight snow, I don't think it'll be that bad. Rain the other day, which is what shut us down here last week. You know, today's the week. Is it the weekend? But last Thursday, my brain's fried. I can't think. I'm exhausted. Yes, we got like 2 1/4 inches of rain, and it froze. And I thought the combine was iced out, free, and we'd be good and great and run and fine. And no, it took me an hour to get the head chipped out. Not just the row units, the power takeoffs and the single point hookup and the pins that lock in, that lock the head on. The combine itself wasn't too terrible, but nobody looks forward to harvesting in the snow in the winter, but